Welcome to this podcast featuring Al Jolson and Friends, sponsored by the website of the International Al Jolson Society. Al Jolson was the preeminent superstar of the 20th century with the first million-selling song, first million-selling album, and more number one hits than the Beatles. This week's podcast is a little excerpt from the October 28th broadcast of the Kraft Music Hall. In this segment, Al Jolson and Oscar Levant begin with some typical back-and-forth comedy. Mr. Jolson then gives an example of his art by singing She's a Latin from Manhattan and Down Among the Sheltering Palms.
Oscar, you know something? You're the only man I know who can play the piano and tune it at the same time.
I'll ignore that remark, as there's no use discussing music with you. You just don't appreciate the good things.
Well, there seems to be two schools of thought on that.
Yes, and you didn't go to either one of them.
Never mind that stuff, Oscar. Let me tell you about my new picture. Started at Columbia yesterday. Yes, we started shooting yesterday morning. Now, the first scene is laid in Africa, where I'm singing to the troops. Two of the soldiers are standing there with tears rolling down their cheeks.
You must have been singing to them for a long time.
Oscar, please, don't joke about this. It was sentiment that made them cry. The song reminded them of a girl back home. Shall I sing it for you?
I would like very much to hear you sing that song, as you are the greatest singer in the world. I like nothing better than to sit and listen to your magnificent voice. The preceding statement is not necessarily the opinion of Oscar Levant.
Oscar, brush the ashes off your suit and play, will you? Because we got a date with a Latin from Manhattan. Fate sent her to me over the sea from Spain, and she is one in a million for me. I found my romance when she went dancing by, and she must be a Castilian. Is she from Havana or Madrid? But something about her is making me doubt her. I think I remember the kid. Yeah, she's the Latin from Manhattan. I can tell by her manana. She's the Latin from Manhattan, but not Havana. Though she does the rumba for us, and she calls herself Dolores. She was in the Broadway chorus, known as Susie Donahue. She can take her tambourine and whack it, but to her is just a racket. She's a hoofer from 10th Avenue. She's the Latin from Manhattan. She's the 42nd Streeter. She's the Latin from Manhattan. Senorita Donahue. Velveeta.
Al, I almost forgot to tell you.
Yeah?
I was at the Friars Frolic last Saturday night.
Yeah?
What a great show that was.
I know, I was in it.
That act that Danny Kaye did with Jack Benny, Van Johnson, Jack Carson, and George Burns was one of the cleverest I've ever seen.
Well, Oscar, it was a pretty good act, you know. It's all right.
And George Jessel was simply stupendous. What a wit. And you know, Al, I thought Tony Martin's singing was about the smoothest I've listened to in a long time.
Oscar, I sang too.
I almost died laughing at Abbott and Costello. Oh, gee. They really killed me with their jokes.
Oscar, I told some jokes, too.
And then, Al, came that moment.
Yeah?
The curtains parted.
Go on.
You walked out on the stage.
How'd you like me, Oscar? How'd you like me?
I didn't hear you. My little girl had to go to the popcorn machine.
Well, you're going to hear me now. I'm going to sing a song that's about 35 years old.
For you, that's new.
I'm ready, Mr. Brain. Down among the sheltering palms, oh, honey, wait for me. Wait for me. Meet me down by the old Golden Gate. That's where the sun goes down about 8. How my love is burning, burning. How my heart is yearning, yearning to be down among the sheltering palms. Oh, honey, wait for me. I'll grab a taxi, honey, wait for me.
This entire radio program is available on the website of the International Al Jolson Society, www.jolson.org. That's JOLSON.org. Along with many other radio shows, Jolson recordings, video clips, and information about the world's greatest entertainer. Be sure to visit the site and listen for the next podcast. As Al Jolson said, in the words he made famous,
You ain't heard nothing yet.